All I can say is, I can never hope to be in better company. We're getting more and more planes. We need more and more gunners.
Shocking revelations surface about Hollywood's king. Clark Gable's ancestry holds a secret that has everyone talking. Keep watching to uncover the mystery behind the legendary actor's hidden past. Born in Cadiz, Ohio, a little town he spent his early years in, on February the 1st, 1901, Clark Gable was born. Early on in life, a set of challenges shaped his temperament and ambition. Adeline, Gable's mother, died when he was barely 10 months old. William Gable, an oil drayer and farmer, raised him. Gable lost his mother, but during his early years, his life was typical save for a demanding lifestyle that shaped his perseverance and strong work ethic. Gable's education was inconsistent early on. At 16, he left high school to work in a tire factory, an event that fueled his need for something more from life. Inspired by his stepmother Jenny, who introduced him to plays and classic literature, Gable became interested in acting during this period. She regularly brought him to local theater productions, where Gable became passionate about the performing arts. Their relationship suffered, nevertheless, as his father believed his new enthusiasm had little value. Driven to follow his ambition, Gable left Ohio at 21 and moved to the West Coast. Arriving in Portland, Oregon, he joined a traveling theater group. Even if the group was small and the roles were few, this experience provided Gable his first real taste of performance. Still, Gable's natural appeal and ability began to appear, attracting more seasoned theater circles to pay attention. Gable almost gave up on acting, though, before his big break. Gable followed a non-straight route to Hollywood. Supporting himself by working at many odd jobs, he spent several years honing his trade on the stage. His first major break came when he was contracted to tour The Ghost Breaker, which stopped in Los Angeles. Josephine Dillon, a theater director, saw Gable there and would thereafter serve as his acting coach and mentor. Gable showed promise. Dillon took him under her wing to help him polish his acting, diction, and image from a raw, unadorned young man into a more sophisticated, leading man type. It was Dillon who advised Gable towards a career in cinema. She accompanied him to Hollywood in 1924 so he could start searching for work in the young film industry. Gable first struggled to get roles. His odd look at Hollywood standards at the time made him typecast most of the time in an extra or a more minor part. But his determination paid off. In a supporting part, he landed his first credited film performance in White Man in 1924. This section set Gable's sluggish ascent in the film industry. Gable broke through in Hollywood not overnight. For the rest of the 1920s, he largely performed minor roles in silent films. Gable's deep, strong voice began to set him apart, only once sound became a staple in films. His first significant performance took place in 1931, when engaged for The Painted Desert. Though the film did not fare well, MGM studio officials noted Gable's star quality in his performance. And here's something you most probably know nothing about Gable's rise to fame. Launching his true career, Clark Gable signed a contract with MGM in 1931. MGM spotted his talent right immediately and cast him in a sequence of films showcasing his unique combination of strong masculinity and magnetic attractiveness. His first major hit under MGM was A Free Soul in 1931, in which Norma Shearer co-stars. Gable's fierce and motivated gangster portrayal not only won him compliments, but also established him as a strong Hollywood leading man. As Gable's career progressed, his star only kept increasing. Over the next few years, he secured key roles opposite some of Hollywood's most well-known actresses, including Jean Harlow and Joan Crawford. Particularly crucial in establishing his reputation was his portrayal alongside Harlow in Red Dust in 1932. His ability to combine a gruff, even lethal demeanor with a remarkable tenderness really touched audiences. Gable was quite spectacular on film. He was a new type of leading man, one who could be sensitive and tough, capable of intense and deep feeling. His dual nature, which also helped him to become among the most sought-after actors in Hollywood, found audiences irresistible. His rapport with his co-stars, especially Harlow and Crawford, improved his image even more and made him a box-office appealing macho beauty during the golden age of Hollywood. Clark Gable had started to be rather well known in Hollywood early in the 1930s. Early roles under MGM helped him to be ready for a career distinguished by exceptional performance and continuous appeal, therefore making him among the most iconic performers of all time. But Gable's path to glory was more than just chance. Few people knew about a secret fight. Gable's dominance in Hollywood. Two films especially helped to solidify Clark Gable's position as one of the best actors of all time. His ascent to popularity in Hollywood was nothing less than explosive. Frank Capra's romance comedy, It Happened One Night, 1934, was first. Playing Peter Warren, a charming and roguish reporter, Gable appeared alongside Claudette Colbert. Gable became a household celebrity, and the movie turned out to be an unexpected hit, sweeping the Academy Awards. Along with an Oscar for Best Actor, his performance changed the romantic comedy subgenre. Gable was the defining leading man of his time, and his portrayal of Warren was praised for its wit, charm, and simple manhood. Gone with the Wind in 1939 was the second movie confirming Gable's reputation as the King of Hollywood. Gable played the dashing and multifarious Rhett Butler in this epic historical romance, a character who grew to be among the most famous in film history. His performance opposite Scarlett O'Hara was just amazing, and the chemistry between the two performers is still revered today. Remarkably, the greatest grossing movie of its day, Gone with the Wind, is now among the most cherished films in Hollywood history. Gable's performance as Butler won him much praise and strengthened his image as the top man of the golden age of Hollywood. By the end of the 1930s, Clark Gable was known as the King of Hollywood, a name that represented his larger-than-life attitude as much as his box-office successes. Fans loved him, and his contemporaries valued him, and his impact went much beyond the movie business. Unmatched in on-screen presence, Gable's combination of a tough masculinity with a startling sensitivity won him over viewers all over the world. But I suppose I told you Gable's narrative goes beyond mere wealth and celebrity. The rumors and scandals that always accompany such celebrity grew as Gable's career kept rising. Hollywood in the 1930s was a venue where public obsession with cinema stars was sometimes more about their personal life than about their on-screen performance. Not an exception was Gable, with his tough appearance and appeal. Driven by his numerous love entanglements and allegedly relationships with some of Hollywood's most well-known women, whispers about his personal life started to spread. Though never entirely supported, these rumors contributed to Gable's appeal and further captivated the public. Among the most reoccurring rumors was regarding Gable's relationship with his co-stars. He was regularly connected to leading ladies such as Joan Crawford, Carole Lombard, whom he finally married, and even Vivien Leigh, his Gone with the Wind co-star. Although the press often embellished or invented these rumors, they helped to fuel public interest in Gable. Depending on how these rumors influenced the marketability of the star, Hollywood companies at the time either promoted or discounted such rumors. For Gable, the rumors seemed to accentuate his charm, therefore reinforcing his reputation as a Hollywood classic. Gable was hiding secrets that might have cut off his career, though, beneath the glitzy front. The rumors start. Clark Gable, despite his immense success, was not immune to the darker aspects of fame. As his star continued to ascend in the 1930s, rumors began to circulate about his background, casting a shadow over his otherwise pristine public image. These rumors suggested that Gable might have had African American ancestry, a claim that, if proven, could have been career-ending in an era rife with racial prejudice, especially in Hollywood. At a time when racial biases were deeply ingrained in American society, any hint that one of Hollywood's biggest stars had African American heritage could have spelled disaster for his career. The origins of these rumors remain unclear, but they gained enough traction to cause significant concern for Gable's studio, MGM. In the 1930s, Hollywood was fiercely protective of the carefully crafted public images of its stars. The studios were keenly aware that any scandal or controversy could severely damage a star's marketability and, by extension, the success of their films. For MGM, the notion that their biggest male star, known as the King of Hollywood, might have African American ancestry was unacceptable and posed a significant threat to their interests. Determined to quash these rumors, MGM took swift and decisive action. The studio worked tirelessly behind the scenes to discredit the whispers, employing a variety of tactics to keep the speculation under control. This included bribing reporters to stay silent, or even threatening legal action against anyone who dared to publish such claims. MGM's efforts to suppress the rumors were so extensive that they managed to keep Gable's image intact, ensuring that his reputation as the quintessential American leading man remained unblemished. The studio's relentless campaign to protect Gable's image highlights the lengths to which Hollywood would go to maintain the idealized personas of its stars during that era. But suppose I told you the rumors were simply the beginning of Gable's secret battles? Though he never publicly admitted them, these rumors profoundly troubled Clark Gable, not only because of the possible effects on his profession, but also because of the personal consequences. He was reportedly bothered privately by the prospect of his ancestry being questioned. Gable had developed his career on the image of a tough, all-American man. Hence he was quite anxious about anything that challenged that picture. Gable answered the rumors by staying quiet and letting the studio handle things. Stars of the day used this usual tactic since Hollywood companies had great influence on how the stories about their talent were written. But Gable was known to be nervous about any information that would come to light regarding his background. Hence this quiet had little effect to stop the whispers. Gable's personal life suffered under the weight of his secret, as well as the strain to uphold his public image. Though what Gable found remains a secret, behind closed doors he apparently endeavored to personally check the veracity of these rumors. The studio kept shielding him, making sure harmful material never surfaced. But Gable's mind continued to be plagued with constant fear of exposure, which changed his perspective of life and his relationships. Throughout his career, this paranoia would accompany him. It was a secret weight that stood out strongly against his public image as the assured and magnetic King of Hollywood. But this narrative has a catch just waiting to surface. Investigations into Gable's ancestry. The more well-known Clark Gable became, the more people became curious of his enigmatic background. Built on glitz and secrecy, Hollywood was alive with rumors. Gable's background attracted biographers and reporters like a seductive subject. For those seeking a dramatic narrative, the rumors regarding his supposed African-American background piqued special interest. MGM tried to quell these rumors, but some tenacious reporters pursued the truth. Among the important players in this journalistic endeavor was the renowned gossip writer Hedda Hopper. Hopper became interested in Gable's history since she was known for her sharp tongue and readiness to reveal Hollywood's most closely kept secrets. She never released anything verifying the rumors, but her questions prepared others to probe further. Though she stayed more in line with the studio's goals, Luella Parsons, another powerful writer of the time, also maintained a close eye on Gable and frequently produced positive pieces supporting her public image. Darwin Porter, another biographer, would eventually go on to painstakingly investigate Gable's life. Porter was tireless in his search for the truth, questioning those who had known Gable and poring over public archives, even if his work came long after his death. Though some of his assertions were discounted as speculative, his results were divisive, to say the least, and they sparked the re-evaluation of Gable's legacy. More questions emerged as these reporters and biographers dug further into Gable's past, feeding an unquenchable fire. But suppose I told you there was one journalist approaching the truth more closely than everyone else. The story was unexpectedly thrown into the tumult of World War II as the research on Clark Gable's background started to gather steam. The start of the war fundamentally changed public attention, relegating Hollywood rumors and scandals to the background as the country battled more urgent issues of worldwide strife. For Gable, the war was a major turning point in his career, as well as in his life. Following the terrible death of his wife, actress Carole Lombard, in an aircraft crash, Gable bravely decided to join the United States Army Air Forces in 1942 instead of remaining in the relative safety of Hollywood. Gable underwent intense training and finally flew many bombing missions over Europe as a gunner, serving with distinction. His battle gallantry and patriotism won him even more appeal from the American people. Gable was now considered a real American hero, someone who had risked his life for his country, not only a movie star. This kind of service greatly enhanced his reputation and made him a symbol of bravery and resiliency at a period of world crisis. The war years brought a brief stop to the gossip and genealogy research on Gable. With the country totally focused on the war effort, any residual questions regarding Gable's origins were mostly lost. Previously keen to uncover scandals, the Hollywood press changed its emphasis to tales supporting the war effort that would raise morale. In this regard, Gable's military service took front stage over any concerns about his personal life. Headlines dominated stories about his war service, therefore supporting his image as a patriotic hero rather than a Hollywood gossip target. Though the emphasis changed, whispers regarding Gable's background never totally disappeared. Those who started the research kept silently gathering data, even while everyone else's focus was elsewhere, though with less public notice. But the scandal had little appeal in the near aftermath of the war. Having gone through years of suffering and loss, the American people were more interested in honoring its heroes than in learning sometimes harmful secrets. Having returned to Hollywood as a decorated military hero, Gable was now virtually untouchable in public view. His war hero character and reputation as a legendary silver screen star gave him a shield against any bad news. But even as the world looked elsewhere, you won't believe what one writer found after years of searching. As Gable resumed his career and kept starring in big-budget pictures, in the years following the war, the rumors regarding his ancestry would sometimes reappear. But they were mostly discounted or overlooked, eclipsed by his continuous success and the goodwill he had acquired during the battle. Gable's on-screen performances and reputation as a living legend piqued the curiosity of his followers more than exploring the dark sides of his life. Hollywood, too, helped to preserve the story of Gable as the archetypal American leading man by avoiding anything that may compromise his well-manicured image. The studies into Gable's lineage would not really take off until much later, following his 1960 death. The public's obsession with vintage Hollywood grew as the years went by, and along with it grew the interest in the stars who had previously dominated the silver screen. For Gable, this fresh curiosity accompanied a closer study of his life and legacy. Historians and reporters started to probe his past, unearthing long-hidden or underappreciated elements. Even among Gable's most ardent supporters, what they found would astound them. Previously little more than murmurs during his lifetime, the revelations regarding his genealogy now came to light and threw an unexpected and new shadow over the memory of the King of Hollywood. These results gave Gable's narrative a sophisticated and fascinating dimension, demonstrating that even the most adored celebrities sometimes have secret depths and mysteries yet unexplored long after they're gone. Posthumous revelations. Hollywood and the globe suffered the death of one of its most brilliant performers, Clark Gable, in 1960. For many, Gable represented the golden age of film rather than only an actor. But the rumors concerning Gable's ancestry gradually returned as time went on and his memory as the King of Hollywood faded. Journalists, biographers, and historians pounced on Gable's life once he was dead, anxious to find the truth about the man behind the legend. He could not defend himself or shape the story. A fresh generation of biographers, who had access to previously sealed records and interviews, revealed, among other things, one of the most important posthumous disclosures. These investigators started to put together a more intricate picture of Gable's life, one with elements that had been carefully concealed over his lifetime. Darwin Porter, who had hinted at Gable's covert past in prior writings, released more thorough research bringing the rumors front and center. The revived curiosity in Gable's background was not just about exposing a possible scandal, but also about learning the whole narrative of one of Hollywood's most mysterious personalities. Reactions to these disclosures varied. While some supporters interpreted it as evidence of the complexity of life in Hollywood's golden age, others disagreed to accept that their idol could have concealed such a major aspect of his identity. Though yet unverified, the rumors about Gable's African-American background started to generate intense debate among movie historians. The debate that followed these disclosures highlighted how American perceptions of race and identity were evolving. In Gable's day, what may have been career-ending was seen through a more complex lens and resulted in a reassessment of his legacy. And now you cannot miss the amazing revelation I'm going to present, exposing a side of Gable you never knew. The dispute erupted in Hollywood and among Gable's supporters as additional specifics regarding his heritage surfaced. Some contended that these posthumous disclosures violated Gable's right to privacy and questioned the morality of prying into a man's life once he was unable to react. Others saw it as an essential review of Hollywood's history, one that may clarify the pressures and prejudices stars endured during the Golden Age. In Hollywood, where image was everything, the thought that one of its most famous actors might have had African-American ancestry was startling and revolutionary. For many, it served as a reminder of the tremendous changes the business had undergone since Gable's day. Using Gable's narrative as a case study in the larger topic on race and representation in the business, the disclosures also spurred debates on the ways in which Hollywood has historically excluded and denigrated some identities. And now, when the dust settles, you won't want to miss the last turn in Gable's remarkable life narrative. These disclosures gave a fresh aspect of Gable's legacy rather than lessened it. His films were still praised, and he stayed a Hollywood star. But Gable's legacy became more intriguing, knowing that there might have been more to his narrative than what was acknowledged publicly. It made him not only a star, but also a symbol of complexity and paradoxes that have long been a feature of Hollywood's attraction. The evidence uncovered. As time passed and the suspicions concerning Clark Gable's ancestry continued, a succession of documents and statements began to surface, presenting more tangible evidence that Gable may have had African-American heritage. New waves of historians and genealogists set out to find the truth behind the legend and unearth these results. Birth records, census records, and the personality written letters buried in archives for decades turned out to be the most important bits of evidence. A birth certificate stating Gable's mother's grandma as mixed race was among the most intriguing finds. Together with testimony from far-off relatives, this paper created a picture that implied Gable's family had gone to tremendous effort to hide their racial background. Other records revealed that Gable's mother had also known of this legacy and had decided to appear as white in order to shield her family from the racial prejudices of the day. Genealogists and historians responded to these discoveries with a mixed bag of interest and mistrust. While some praised the finds as a long-overdue insight that enhanced Gable's reputation, others questioned the veracity of the records and the reasons behind their publication. For those who agreed with the evidence, it was seen as a required revision of the historical record that honored the complicated and sometimes secret racial dynamics in early Hollywood. Critics countered that the rumors were sensationalized for contemporary viewers and that the proof was at best circumstantial. First of all, be advised, the argument is far from finished and not everyone is persuaded by this evidence. The scholarly community split. Some academics welcomed the fresh discoveries as a chance to reevaluate Hollywood's cultural past, while others cautioned against making decisions based just on evidence lacking certainty. The argument about Gable's background turned into a flashpoint in the larger discussion on race, identity, and the extent people would go to in order to fit into a society sometimes demanding uniformity. The disclosures on Clark Gable's alleged black background not only generated debate among historians and the public, but also profoundly upset his surviving relatives. Long living with the weight of their ancestors' towering legacy, Gable's descendants found themselves in the forefront as the rumors returned. Gable's family responses ranged as much as those from the general public. Gable's son, John Clark Gable, was particularly vociferous in his denial of the charges. He said there was no truth to the stories and that his father had always been honest about his background. John, who had constructed his own life mostly under public view, was cautious of efforts to change the course of his family's history and guarded his father's memory. In interviews, he urged people to remember Gable for his contributions to movies instead of mucking over rumors, since he characterized them as an invasion of privacy and a distortion of the facts. Though less vocal in their reactions, other family members voiced uncertainty and discomfort at the thought that their beloved patriarch's legacy was under challenge in such a divisive way. These assertions scared them, since they would eclipse the amazing career and achievements Gable had accomplished. The family's conflicting answers mirrored the larger society's attempt to balance the past with modern conceptions of race and identity. First, be cautious. The argument is far from settled, and not everyone is persuaded by this data. Still, the rumors persisted against all the resistance. For some, the very fact that Gable's family was so fervently against the proposal encouraged more conjecture. The conflict between the need to find historical truths and the wish to preserve the legacy of a loved one produced a moving drama that reflected Gable's own life story, a tale of celebrity, mystery, and the complexity of identity in a society too frequently demanding simplicity. The legacy and cultural impact. Clark Gable's legacy as one of Hollywood's most legendary leading men has persisted for decades. However, the disclosures concerning his possible black origin have added a new depth to his story, one that continues to affect how he is regarded today. For many, Gable's legacy is no longer just about his outstanding performances in films like Gone with the Wind and It Happened One Night. It has also come to represent the convoluted racial history of Hollywood and the extent stars would have to go to preserve their public reputation. Particularly with regard to the experiences of actors of color in the early years of film business. These disclosures have spurred significant dialogues on race and identity in Hollywood. Often depicted as the ideal of the all-American leading man, Gable is now considered by some as someone who would have had to negotiate the demands of racial passing, an issue that is particularly relevant in today's debates on media diversity and representation. Gable is a more complicated and fascinating person than ever before, since the likelihood that he belonged to a family that had to be kept secret from him to reach popularity gives his legacy a depth of sorrow and valor. Modern debates on race and Hollywood sometimes cite Gable's biography as a case study in the lengthy history of racial erasing and whitewashing of the business. In this regard, Gable's life and career act as a reminder of the challenges performers of color have experienced and still face in a field that has historically given a limited notion of beauty and success top priority. Gable's tale also emphasizes the need of closely reading the stories Hollywood has created over time and the ongoing influence of films on popular attitudes of race and identity. And now, here is the last turn in Gable's amazing tale. How his legacy still influences Hollywood now. Though there is a constant discussion over Gable's background, Hollywood's reaction to these discoveries has been quite subdued. Although certain directors and documentarians have addressed the subject in their work, the business as a whole has been reluctant to fully welcome the debate. The difficulties of tackling such a delicate topic without discounting Gable's achievements or offending his fan base could help to explain this hesitation. Hollywood is starting to face its history, though, and the tales of stars like Gable, who might have had to hide facets of their identity in order to achieve show evidence of this. Hollywood is starting to face its history, though, and the tales of stars like Gable, who might have had to hide facets of their identity in order to achieve success, show evidence of this. Recent films and documentaries have begun to investigate the secret history of Hollywood's golden period, illuminating the experiences of performers compelled to negotiate a system sometimes demanding uniformity at the expense of authenticity. These initiatives show a growing awareness in the business of the necessity to honor the whole spectrum of events that have shaped Hollywood's history and to tell more inclusive and diverse stories. And now, when we consider Gable's influence, one last discovery alters all you knew about the golden age of Hollywood. The tendency of performers of color in major roles, which can be traced back to the legacy of stars like Gable who, if unintentionally, cleared the path for a more inclusive Hollywood, is among the most important changes in film. Although the business still has a long way to go in terms of diversity and representation, the continuous conversation about Gable's background has helped to propel a larger movement to guarantee that the experiences of every actor from all backgrounds are told with integrity and respect. Curious about more Hollywood secrets? Stay tuned for our next video, where we uncover even more shocking celebrity revelations that will leave you amazed. Don't miss out on the hidden truths of Tinseltown.